Hey everyone. Thanks for tuning back onto the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever you're finding us. I have a really special guest for us today. I'm really excited to introduce to you one of the most interesting and most vibrant people I've ever met in my life in terms of energy and just what you're up to. And yeah, excited to introduce to you Desiree. She's a business matchmaker. Tulsidai Kinney. No,
Yeah.
Kinney, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. After I just practiced it, I still got it wrong. Hilarious.
I appreciate your energy anyway.
Yes. And so we met through Streetwise Partners, which is this incredible mentorship program that has honestly changed my life and just has introduced me to some of the most giving and most kind people on earth. So excited to be a part of that community and appreciate your leadership and all your contributions there as well.
Thank you so much. And I'm honored to be on the Davidson Hang podcast. I might have to pick on you a little bit because I admire you very much. I know I met you, let's just say in your days, just in case I can't mention or can mention names, but when you were at one of the largest technology giants and one of my favorite firms and gave me this beautiful tour of the office. And I just remember us meeting in a very passionate way over something we were equally passionate about, which is mentorship, meeting the Streetwise program, having a mutual feeling that our energies matched. I told you, I'm like, I think you're like a male equivalent because you have the highest energy, most smiley and bubbly. And I was like, who is this person? And I just knew I had to stay connected with you. So it's a blessing to be here. I'm honored. We are in our new normal. These are interesting times. So I think the best thing to do is keep in touch with people and check on them. And you did. You said, hey, Desiree, how have you been? I'd love to have you on my podcast. And if you're so proactive and engaging, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for the honor of being here.
Yeah, you're right. There's certain people that just have that energy, that like spark in life. And you're certainly one of those people. And yeah, there's certain people that, like, hey, I want to stay engaged and connected because like you never know, right? And you're definitely one of those people that just have that extra. Yeah, I think there's not a lot of people you meet out there. Like, I think now I'm a little bit more comfortable with like owning my own like greatness, right? I think in the past I wouldn't been able to say that, but people like ourselves that are just like out there making things happen, like they just have this extra energy. And I think I think you probably have noticed, like you probably always saw yourself in that light, but I more recently I saw myself as this leader that like.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I want to actually make a point to emphasize your point. We need to give ourselves permission to experience joy. So I'll repeat that. Give yourself permission to experience joy in your life. And they say happiness comes in waves, but joy is every day. It's your mindset and what you bring to the table. And we also need to celebrate our wins, our little wins. It's not about measuring it like, oh, this is not big enough for me to celebrate. No, every little win. I want whoever's watching this podcast, the Davidson Hang podcast, please celebrate in whatever way. If it's getting a glass of wine, if it's going out with the family, if it's pigging out, whatever it is to you, working out, right? Because everyone has their different ways that they trigger their happy hormones, right? So just do what it takes to acknowledge yourself. I think a big theme is self-worth, self-care, having confidence within yourself and not seeking it from the outside universe, right? If we did that, where would we all be during COVID, right? So you have to kind of find it within yourself internally and give yourself permission to. So that's something I want to kind of point out as a theme today. And also when it comes to finding it within myself and breaking out of my comfort zone and getting comfortable being uncomfortable, it took a while. I was a recluse, a very reclusive person. I was to myself. I would read books, and close the door and lock myself out from the world and get trapped into the alternate reality. I was also a closet musician. I didn't actually expose my passion for music in the way that people would perceive that I did because of where I am today as a music artist. I used to sing, this is my joke, I used to take my mom's Mariah Carey songs, like this is a throwback, right? And
Yeah.
sing my heart out in her basement and hear the echoes and think I was on stage in front of this big
Wow.
audience. And my own family didn't know, and it's amazing
Wow.
how we conceal our passion sometimes. And it's okay if you keep it. I want to make a point. If it's something that's just for you, that's a beautiful thing. If it's part of your self-care, it's wonderful. But if it's something you actually just truly don't have that confidence in yourself and you're concealing it because of insecurity and fear, I want to challenge everyone to break out of that comfort zone, because once I did, it was this beautiful thing. It was like a blossom effect of all of these blessings that came from the universe that I never would have thought would have happened. So, when we get into tap into those things later, I can give more specific examples, but I just want to say, like, I want to inspire people to find that voice within, right? Because we can't look outside. We can look outside in terms of support, right? You and I did. We were mentors, right?
Mhm.
So we were able to inspire that hope and that courage into our mentees, right? But I want people to find it within, because there's nothing more powerful than that inner voice lifting you up throughout your experiences in your life, right?
That's pretty deep. Yeah, it's interesting because this year, like you said, the new normal. I took a job that's like 100% remote now, so it's like almost the opposite of working at LinkedIn.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's okay. I mean, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like I say whatever is on my mind.
So what do you do when you have your moments where you're like, I can't take this. I got to get out of my seat. Do you do like your happy dance? Do you like do virtual workouts? Do you?
Honestly, it is pretty tough, yeah. But like for the job, like I'll get to travel a lot for conferences and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
like I'm going to Germany for the first time next month, and then I'm going to Hawaii and like all these.
Hawaii.
Yes.
Aloha, one of my
So
favorite places in the world.
oh yeah. Do you have any recommendations for
I
the?
can actually give you a list after this call, because one of my best friends is born and raised in Hawaii. She
Oh.
used to hula dance. She actually just moved back, and she's pursuing her career there in the medical field, and she's
Oh.
the happiest she's ever been in her life to go back. And
Oh.
it's funny. It's like how we say find your happy place, and it sounds so cliche, but it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I think the next place I have to say is most beautiful is Costa Rica. Pura vida, right? Their mentality is so just live, love life. And and it's funny how and here's my little plug, right? I'm a woman of Wall Street, right? I've been in financial services for 12 plus years, ongoing years, and I have seen some of the most established, successful, wealthy people in the world. And I can tell you one thing: some of them are living their lives, and I give them kudos, and some of them are like afraid
Huh.
to that something will impact their wealth. And it's like, you don't, what's the expression, right? You don't live to work, you work to live, right? So
Yeah.
you have to shift the mindset around why you're doing what you're doing. You want to build a legacy, you want to build a foundation, but you also want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I always say have a fun budget, and don't go crazy with the fun budget. Make it like 90%, right?
Yeah. That's like my
allocate
case. Too much fun.
yeah, well, I don't know if that's true, because the happy, once again, fueling yourself with that happiness, the happy hormones, that's like one of the best things you can do. They say people who smile, we smile a lot, right? Live longer lives. So
Yeah.
it's funny how even when they've done studies on it, even when you are feeling at your all-time low and you're not as cheery and your spirit's not as high, if you actually start laughing and smiling and keeping your positive, it actually will lift your energy level and put you in a positive space and mindset. So I'm big
Yeah.
on that. I have a lot of friends that are big on, actually one of my friends, she's big on your mentality. Actually, let me see. Her title is, she's a mindologist.
Whoa.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And she has a book. I have to tell you guys about this book, because I love doing plugs for great people. The Fearless Entrepreneur.
Oh,
So
wow.
you guys need to get this book. She is absolutely phenomenal, and she talks about how our way of thinking can impact our stress levels, our emotions, control of our emotions. It can, and long term, it will impact your success. right? So
Yeah.
getting into like psychology of our minds and our mindsets and how we interact with other human beings and how we react to situations that are beyond our control. And she's just unbelievable. I'd love for you guys to look into her, Clarissa Romero. It's just important in terms of every step we take in our lives, right? So had to drop those gems.
No, I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're always connecting people and adding value, and you're a super connector, right? And I think that's why you've had so much success, right? I mean, it's almost impossible to fail if you're helping so many people all the time, you know?
And it's okay. Like that's another thing. Like one thing I talk about, and I've actually echoed this sentiment a few times in interviews and recently for a magazine feature. And I said, it's about managing that inner critic within you every time you make a mistake, right? So not letting that consume you, that negative self-talk, that inner critic inside of you, and being cognizant that you can overcome anything if you want to, and use that as a life lesson, right? So I think that's one of the biggest thing that drives insecurities. And I said, you can be your worst enemy or your biggest fan. Which one are you going to be? Right? Your worst enemy or your biggest fan. And once again, remember I said you, I'm not talking about the external universe, because I feel you can feed off the positive energy, but there's also a lot of negative energy out there too. So you have to be careful. My mantra for 2021 is protect your energy, right? So whether it's people, time, projects, places, whatever it may be, eliminate and clearing up the space that is taking away from what your vision is in your life, right?
I love that. Yeah, energy management is huge, right? And then who you surround yourself with only amplifies like whatever's going on. So if I'm surrounding myself with folks because I think every company, there's like the complainers and there's the folks that's always like, oh, this is what's wrong with the company and making fun of Jamie or whatever it is, right? And then you can hang out with someone with the same exact title and have a completely different perspective of the culture of the company, right? It's like, who would I choose to surround myself with, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And your vibe, actually another quote, your vibe is your tribe. I took that from someone. I love that. One of the wonderful people in my network. And it does influence you. You know, people think, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not them and they're not me. Well, it's a reflection of you. It's just like when you refer someone for a job or an opportunity, they're a reflection of you. So be cognizant of that. And it's funny you mentioned, right, LinkedIn. I always tell, when I would teach my program, are you LinkedIn or linked out? I said, who is on your list? Have you looked at who they represent and who they're connected to? Does that a representation of your brand, right? And are you sure that you want that? And just also just the energy that you're giving and that's being received, right? Are you exerting all of your energy into that person and you're not getting it in return? I feel there should be mutual reciprocation. It may not be perfect, but there should be some reciprocity, right? So
oh, I still have a mug from you, that black mug. I still use it.
Yes. Well, why didn't you know? It's too late, right? We have the evening with Joe.
Oh yeah, I should.
Sometimes you need it, you know, for those that are fearless entrepreneurs, right? So we have to keep going, and that's something I've been adjusting to, you know, going back from being full-time virtual and more rested. I will tell you, it's the most rested I've ever felt in my life. And ironically, when everyone was like, you know, I can't take it anymore, you know, when I jump out my window, I need to feel like I'm outside. I actually found the most peace and calm. I was able to collect my thoughts, organize what I want to do. And 2020, while it was one of the hardest years, and for a few reasons, and I could tell you why, the good part is that I challenged myself. I completed a program at Columbia to see if, you know, maybe this is where I want to pursue my graduate studies. I started this new business, the Business Matchmaker, thinking about what business owners really need right now. How can I help fill the gap? How can I help be kind of like a mentor, coach, and encourage them through whatever journey they are at or stage they are, so I can meet them where they're at. I got a notary designation.
I saw that.
I constantly looked at new ways, started to become a part of a virtual podcast that already existed, the Work Your Money podcast.
Yeah.
And a few women from different locations all over the world, we came together. And I also became one of the founding members of a collabo call for women, but we have our male allies, of course. One of the main people who supports it, Lester Bailey, he's, wonderful. Like, so we support everyone, but we wanted to create a community for women. So Jacelle, Michelle, Chantel, and let me make sure and Kim. Sorry, I'm going from top of mind. We all created this beautiful platform together, and people tune in from all over the world. So the founding members are from Bahamas, Canada, California, me from New York, New Jersey. So it's a beautiful thing. So in that time, you really can choose which way you want to take it. Do you want to look at it as a loss, or do you want to look at it as an opportunity? And I took the opportunity door, and I said, I'm opening this, and I'm going to use this time that we will never have again quite like this, and to challenge myself, allow myself to heal. 2020 also brought a loss, a very significant loss. My significant other passed away. I also lost 2 other people that were near and dear to me. So it was a time of self-reflection, healing, managing PTSD. And I somehow had this big blessing that fell from the sky. I actually became a part of a community, a widow community that I didn't even know existed. They welcome people, whether they're married or unmarried. So they really helped me at an unbelievable level. We'd have Zooms, we'd have, little gatherings. We did everything to kind of keep each other strong and solid during a very difficult time. So it was a year of trauma, but it was a year of, I call it me being an overcomer, and not just, I survived. I wasn't just a survivor. I was an overcomer. That's what I call it.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's bold. I mean, that's courageous for being so open. And yeah, I mean, you're definitely a fighter, right? You're definitely super resilient.
Thank you.
And like, you really took advantage, or you really made, like, I think we grow the most from the most adversity, and you're clearly someone who, like you said, isn't just surviving. You actually like created an opportunity, which I think most people wouldn't, right? I think a lot of people would be suffering and but you still were able to find meaning in some of these hardships. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I say, and this is the actual expression I use usually, it's like there's 2 doors, obstacle or opportunity. Which one are you opening? Right? And you can choose. It's not set in stone. So once again, that's, how do you perceive the experiences that you have? How are you internalizing that? That's a lot of how, and I got the proper term, sorry, it's mindfulness. That's the real term that my colleague uses, and really digging deep into you and how you respond and how you react to things, because it can change the course of your day, and it can change the trajectory of your life, how you allow things to impact you and how you respond. And that it's that simple. It's crazy, but it is really that simple. It's not easy. I don't mean it's easy, but I mean understanding the logic around how do we become successful, right? That's always the question. Like, how do you, and I think it starts here and here, and how we show up in the world in every single day.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. And ultimately, it's a choice, right? We can choose to be a victim or complain or, avoid or whatever it is, and not deal with it. And eventually it comes back. Or we can, like you said, see it as an opportunity and see it as a blessing and proactively work on it. And every day is not easy, right? And every day we don't have to dive deep into it, but the more we get into it, the more we practice these muscles, the better we'll get at, like you said, mindfulness and being just super aware of how we're reacting to certain situations. Like in the pandemic was a great example, right? There's a lot of folks who didn't have a good time, and there's folks like us that sounds like we had our best years, right, in terms of growth and self-discovery and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's something I like to spread, and that energy and that positive mindset, because it also helps others, right? And I
Mm.
know you're an empath like me, and you like to give, and you're so caring, and you donate your time to help other people. And in this process, as we're healing, we're also healing others, right? And
Mhm.
you know the expressions, lift others as you climb. And I have another one, maybe I'll share at the end, one of my favorite quotes. I have a few that kind of help to inspire and empower me when I'm feeling, you know, maybe not my highest. And I realize the impressions that I'm leaving. I gave the example in our you know, pre-call to this, and I told you my mentee, Saraswati, right? She just started her dream internship, and
Yeah.
realizing the steps I take, she's watching, right? Like I'm thinking, oh, no one's really,
Mm.
going to watch every step. They might watch the big moments. She's watching everything. And
Yeah.
it's helped her. She said, the risk of getting emotional, because she sent some really deep and touching texts and messages, and said, you've not only been an amazing mentor, you've become like a friend. Like you look out for me, you care for
Oh.
me, and you kept in touch with me after the program ended. And she's like, I can tell like you actually are here for me,
Mhm.
and you want me to be successful. And like seeing her light up when she started this internship, it just showed me we're not just responsible for ourselves, we're
Mhm.
responsible for others. It extends to a much deeper place than I think we realize, our sense of
Mm.
responsibility as human beings on this earth. And my
Mhm.
late significant other, he taught me that, because he was a humanitarian. He
Mm.
wanted to end trafficking. He donated millions of dollars to charity. He
Wow.
cared about families that were underserved. Like he was just the true, to the point I didn't know if I was doing enough. When I met him, I thought I was doing, and he's like
Wow.
changing the world. Like he was and is a beautiful soul. I'm spiritual, so I feel like he's still with me and guiding
Mm.
me, watching me. And a lot of the work I do is a tribute to him, especially the community work, and just making an impact in people's lives. And I think we all have the power to do it. People tell me, they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, I'm not saying like I do feel I'm a special human being in the sense that I know I was brought on this earth to
Mm.
do great things and to serve a purpose, but everyone's special and capable. Like try to tell them, I'm like, there's nothing that makes me light up in the sky, and I'm like, I can fly. Like I'm a human being too.
Right.
I just have a deep rooted feeling that I am meant to do more on this earth, and to
Mhm.
help people, and to be compassionate. And I feel like in a society as a whole, we need more empathy and emotional intelligence. It's
Mm.
lacking. The Harvard Business study that I read, I can share with your viewers, that I completed through the Columbia program, talked all about this. How
Mm.
you want to know the number one tip for leaders that we need? More EI and more empathy, more understanding, especially after COVID, or even now that we're still, we're still in it, right? We're still in the pandemic, and
Yeah.
there's still a lack of work-life balance. There's still
Mm.
a challenge for some. Remember last year they were homeschooling their kids, and some are still semi-virtual or virtual, and they've got the
Yeah.
kids, the dogs, the pets, all these things that are happening. And I think there just needs to be an understanding that
Mm.
people want to give their absolute best versions of themselves, but these times are different, and we need flexibility, and we need understanding, and we need um real to feel like there's a real sense of I care
Mm.
for my team and their well-being, not just I care about my bottom line, right?
Yeah. Man, that's deep. I mean, yeah, we could talk a lot.
Everything I'm saying today is deep. This is good. I'm back commuting to New York every day, so I'm glad. That means I'm still able to process at this hour. And no coffee.
Oh wait, are you in your Park Ave now, or are you in Jersey now?
No, I just came from New York before this interview.
Oh, okay.
I
But
commuted.
you also have a place in Jersey?
Oh yes, I reside in New Jersey. Jersey
Oh,
girl, born in
wait,
New
where do you?
Brunswick.
I'm in Jersey now.
Oh, we could have done this in person.
Where, where are you in
Well,
Jersey?
I will say, since we are on a live interview, I'll keep it somewhat discreet, but I'll say I went to Rutgers University many years ago. I still am a part of Rutgers, the Women's Business Initiative. Woo! And
Uh-huh.
I'm not far from there.
Dude, I live like really close to Rutgers.
Yay. Okay, so next one, part 2, in
Okay.
person.
Okay. We'll talk about that offline. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want stalkers or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I know, right? Exactly. That was why, you see, I was discreet.
I
And it's
love
funny
it.
when you're more visible, you get requests for, and sometimes it's genuinely authentic and innocent, but street smart Scott ladies, be
Yeah.
careful. And it's funny because I'm a brand ambassador, right? That's part of
Mhm.
my side gigs. I'm a brand ambassador for fashion designers and jewelry designers,
Mhm.
and they're like, I want to send you free product and merchandise, but you have to be careful where they send it to. So just be cognizant. All these Instagram, social media, TikTokers, like all the
Yeah.
influencers of the world, just
Mhm.
be careful with the public information you share, because I know sometimes I'm like, oh, here you go, and I almost do it.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
I'm like, oh, this is on the path of being a bigger and better influencer, but just be smart, do super. Anyway.
I should be careful. I feel like I would just give my address so willingly. but, but I do think as a guy, it's a little bit. I think for women, there's a little bit more fear, right? Because yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny being in New York, like I'm like, I got so tough. Like I grew up in the suburbs. Like I said, I went to Rutgers. Are you rah rah for any Rutgers fans and who are our alumni who are watching or students? But actually first going to a big school really broke me out of my comfort zone. So that was a big
Yeah.
shift for me. I'm like, we have to take a bus to get to class. Where is this class? Like in Jupiter or Mars? Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it, coming from a
Yeah.
small, I graduated with like, I remember flashback to high school, I had like 100 something students in my
Oh
class.
wow, that's it.
What are
Yeah.
you talking about? And then going into New York, actually, my first internship in New York, Warner Music Group, my dream internship. You want to know why? You want to know I'll spill the tea why? I was obsessed with making the bands. And I don't know how this happened, but one of my team leads called me over. It's like, I need your help with something. And I'm thinking she wants me to like reorganize a closet or something. And I was like, sure, like, cause we had like the
Hmm.
CDs back then. There I go. I just aged myself. Anyway, so the point is, she was like, I have some special guests coming. I need you to help plan the mini launch parties. And I was like, huh? I
Oh.
from the computer so fast, there was smoke coming from my shoes. I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh yeah, so today we're gonna have Danny Kane, and tomorrow we're gonna have day 26. And I'm like,
Oh my God. I still listen to Day 26.
remember, I'm a singer, I'm super excited, and
Oh.
I never really did anything professional. Like I played in the band, and I played instruments and all of that. But I end up meeting them, and I take a picture with Danny
Oh.
Kane, and I'm like, don't I look like the long lost member?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
after I ended up trying out for making the band, almost trying out, sorry, but the line got too rowdy and my family was like, no, 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 it's not safe, leave. Years later, I ended up getting an opportunity to be in a girl group. And I was a part of a female pop hip hop group called Dorothy Malone. And we were award winning. We traveled all over the world. Well, not over the world, all over the different states. We planned to go all over the world. Anyway, and then one of the girls from Danny Kane, both begin with D, sorry. She gave us a shout out, which was insane.
What?
And I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't
Oh.
believe all these years later, I get a shout out. And it just shows you, like, if you stay consistent and persistent,
Hmm.
it can happen. Because I never would have thought the person I met all those years ago, and I was like a super fan, was going to acknowledge my girl group and say, girl groups need to stick together. So I want to give a shout out. I'm like, no way. So you never know. Dreams can come true in the strangest ways. But New York broke me out of my shell. That's for sure. It made you more, it makes you tough, street smart, but also really sincere. I don't think people realize that about New Yorkers. I was rushing back home to make probably one of my, I don't know which business commitment, one of my Zoom calls, interviews. And this woman stopped me. She's like, your wallet. And it was literally like falling out of my bag, or very easily accessible for someone to grab it out of my bag. And I was like, oh my God, that sincerity with New Yorkers. They'll stop to give you help with directions. They may, exterior's tough, but they have a heart of gold.
Oh.
So I don't know. I know people like try to say that, but I'm like, New Yorkers have looked out for me so many times. I don't know what it is. It's the love. It's a love that I have, but I also love New Jersey. It's my birthplace, and my family's from here, so I'm grateful to be from New Jersey as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be back near Rutgers. Like, I definitely, I like it. You know, like I honestly, I never thought I would go back to the
yeah,
suburbs, let alone like near the Rutgers area.
I love Rutgers
But
area, Highland Park, Rutgers. Yeah, the food is great, and that
yeah,
there's a lot of nice restaurants. There's a good energy and vibe. I love that. And there's the nightlife, so people go out and have a good time. I have a lot of memories. You know,
yeah.
it's nice. I went back a few times. Like I said, I was asked to be a part of this newly created Rutgers Women's Business Initiative, and
Mhm.
it's really great. And we have men too that are part of it. Once again, like it's not like
Oh,
the it just was founded by women, and it elevates women in the business world. But we have great men on our team, and it's
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you go through your LinkedIn, and it's like, man, like it's pretty impressive, right? Like I think most people wish they would accomplish this much in their lifetime.
Oh my
It's still early on in your career, so still a lot more.
And I document everything too, and that's important. Like I once again remember like highlighting your successes, being confident in it. I know some of
Yeah.
my mentees said, I don't like to talk about myself. I don't want to brag. I'm like, you're not bragging. You're just highlighting your achievements and your accomplishments for others to see, because that's where opportunities come from. Like one thing
Mhm.
I always said is I'm big on, the relationship part. Like it's not, I always say it's
Mhm.
not just who you know, because people say it's who you know. No, it's also who knows you. Are you top of mind?
Mm.
Did you leave a
Hmm.
impression? That's why I don't have to apply to jobs. I get referrals. I have people who contact me. We're spreading the buzz in the community, and
Mm.
there's nothing wrong with the traditional methods, but we're in a new age, right? Even now with post COVID, right? Everything's like virtual coffees and
Yeah.
presentations. Virtual presentations are fun. They're kind of funny, like in the sense that I feel like I'm talking to myself. Like the pre-recorded one, I did my first one, and I'm like, I'm so tired of my voice. Is it over? Because I did it for like an hour to hour and a half. It was a great experience. It was actually for the oh my goodness, they have such a long title. It was for one of the New Jersey associations, a student convention. I
Mm.
get the full title. It's long anyway, but it was really great. And it was I talked about personal branding, LinkedIn, the art
Yeah.
of networking, but it was just like
Mm.
getting into this flow of like literally recording yourself. And I was waiting for someone to laugh at something I said, and I was like, oh yeah, there's no one. Who's gonna laugh at this, because nobody's here. And even when you're doing a virtual presentation with an audience, everyone's muting their microphones. So you're like,
I know, it's so weird. It is kind of weird, yeah.
oh, no, wait, it might have been, but okay, next.
No, I mean, yeah, I think we're like twins. Like everything that you're saying, like everything who you're about in terms of like really adding value, like personal branding, LinkedIn, like yeah, we could be literally the same person, it's
We should
it's
launch a whole new business. Let's do it. We should make a team. We'll talk offline. Don't steal our ideas, guys. We didn't anything yet. I don't know who's watching, but it's great, and we can build like this really. I don't know. I love diversity. Like I said, I was just invited to be a part of this diversity and inclusion team, and I love it because, well, its purpose and its mission. I think education is key, and just getting people to open their eyes, on a lot of important topics. So we could build this really
yeah.
team, and we can educate people on the power of their brands. Actually, branding, shout out. My mentor, Kaplan Mowbray, the 10Ks of personal branding. You guys have to get that. I think I have it.
10Ks.
I have it. I love when I'm home. It's accessible. It's so much
Oh, first,
easier.
okay. I'll link to that to
So you guys,
Kaplan.
I love oh, this is another great one, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was featured in, my quotes in it. Get all
Hey.
the game up.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
All inspirational quotes. I love this one.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Amazing. Wow. Just there's so many angles we can go here. Like that's the beauty, right? Like you have so many different avenues and so many different ventures that I feel like you can do a lot of different masterminds for a lot of different topics, right?
One I want to do eventually is music because it's been my
Mhm.
passion, but I might infuse it with business. I'm still figuring out. So
Huh.
special announcement. Can I make it a special announcement that I didn't mention yet? And
Yeah.
I said it to you before this, but the really exciting thing happening with the business matchmaker right now, my new business that I created last year, we are filming a commercial because there's going to be the business matchmaker TV show, and you can actually go to evoyproductions.com and you can see the flyer. We just did that as a teaser, and then my website you can also check out as well, thebusinessmatchmaker.org. Soon it will be up. Now there's just a demo, but there will be an actual commercial because we're filming next month.
Oh,
So
there you go. I have your website. I'll link it too.
yeah, so that's like a dream come true. And so what I meant to say about music is I have to work on a theme song.
Ooh.
That's always been, I'm one of those cheesy people that knew the words to every theme song. I think I drove my family crazy. I'd be like, yeah, like like every word, like throwback, like I don't know what you watch, but it could be like Boy Meets World or Family Matters, or
Yeah.
like I would know.
Oh, have Jesse Itzler?
Huh?
Jesse Itzler?
Jesse Itzler? Who's wait?
So he's the guy who married the woman who owns Spanx, Kate or
Oh,
Sarah
I was
Sarah.
just looking at the CEO of Spanx the CEO of Spanx, her profile.
Oh yeah. What
Saying,
she do? They're an awesome couple. They're such a power couple. So he became a billionaire, starting off by selling like doing jingles for all these things and selling like the theme songs for like I think he did it for like the New York Knicks and then like all and then so he actually became famous from that. It's like it's crazy.
I know her, obviously, like, attract all my female CEOs, but
Yeah.
I don't know him well. I'll definitely look it up, but it sounds like the dream job. It's funny, like at my job, because my voice changes, like when I'm doing like a voicemail, I'm like, hi, you've reached, like, and they're like, can you do my voicemail? Like I've had people like, you can't afford me. I was like, my company's gonna have to hire me to do that full time because
Yes.
we do it everyone's voicemail. No, I'm just kidding. I would do it for them, but I'm like, don't you think it's a little weird? They're gonna be like, who is this? It's a little weird. Like, you sound different.
Yeah, they would know.
But sometimes it's funny. I've even had clients say, "Are you a singer?" And I'm like, "Why?" I was like, "Did I just hum something by accident?" They're like, "No, I can just hear it in your tone." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." But sometimes I'll be like, "Let me get that for you." Like I'll just start humming.
Sing songy, yeah.
Yeah, but it lifts my spirit, and it's like sometimes those little things in your day just make you feel brighter. And I'm like,
Mm.
you know what? I'm just gonna sing while I walk and staple my papers. Anyway, no one will judge me.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, do you want to share a little bit more about like your business and what prompted you, like how'd you come up with the name and that I mean that I think a lot of people are afraid to start their own businesses, especially people like yourself that have like such awesome like full like jobs, so how do you go about that and like even creating your own LLC and all that stuff?
Whole process. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I have a lot of wonderful people in my network. I have mentors and sponsors. So quick education check for anyone who wants to write it down or doesn't know the difference, right? A mentor is multifaceted, don't get me wrong, but we were mentors, right? We can coach,
Yeah.
we can guide, we can inspire, whether it's resume building, cover letters, informational interviews, working on your elevator pitch. I mean, the list goes on and on. But the sponsor, what's great about a sponsor, where a sponsor can be combined as, having those mentor capabilities, they're going to open the doors that you couldn't normally get into. They're going to vouch for you. They're going to be your cheerleader. I've had a lot of both in my world, which has helped me to figure it out because I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. I come from a family of wonderful people, like very intelligent. My mom, one of the smartest people. My dad, he actually excelled. When he was younger, he took IQ tests and he was off the chain with it. So he's one of those people. I'm like, I don't get it. How do you the information just like literally marinates in his brain and he can just like rattle it off. Like, I'm like, where did this come from? And he's like a sponge of information. And so I'm very grateful for them, but I just I have a few entrepreneurs. My cousin, Terry, he started his awesome fashion line. I have another cousin, who's also breaking into the fashion industry. So I have some entrepreneurial spirit in my blood, but not so much. And I think I really say I stumbled upon it. Before the business matchmaker, I had the $1 billion small business where I wanted small businesses to dream big and to think anything is possible. And it started with a CPA saying, hey, can you help me with some marketing stuff?
Huh.
Really glamorous, I know, right? Hey, can you help me with it? That was it. It was like, I'm like, wait, what do you mean I have a day job? And he's like, oh, like on the side. I was like, huh? Like, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur meant. I'm not kidding. I didn't know. I literally shut down one of my first clients because I didn't know how that worked with data. And so it was like educating myself on, he was my first retainer agreement too, right? And my first retainer agreement, my first client was actually a fashion designer, Princess Raj, Raj Couture. So I should correct myself, but my first retainer agreement was Matheson Associates, a long established CPA and actuary services firm. He does everything. So my clients are just unbelievable, and I'm very blessed. But I started this business to really kind of, I guess, pivot in terms of the services I provided, because I noticed people were coming to me asking for me to coach them on being more visible, being more presentable. How do I actually had one say, can you coach me? I'm speaking with a CEO virtually for the first time, and I have no idea how to act or what to ask. So she wanted coaching on her virtual presentation skills. And I was like, oh, this is different. And it went really, really well. I was like, for just a little extra fee, I can put a little plug in your ear if you like. No, a little headset. I'm kidding. No.
That's awesome.
It just like falls out of the ear and they see it. No, we weren't going to do that. I was like, you're ready. I believe in you. You are capable. And it went really, really well. And this was someone who doesn't do a lot of networking in person. So to do it virtually, it was like a whole different ballgame. So I was like, what can I do to change the narrative? So my services are going to be focused on that. What is it that clients need now? Not previously, not in the past, but now. And a lot of it has been visibility and virtual skills. Skills. So you can see there's going to be actually coming soon a full list of LinkedIn coaching services, workshops. I still do in person. It depends on the company, it depends on the organization, but I really wanted to kind of focus on how do I fill the gap in people's businesses. So it could be people, it could be services, and it could be solutions. I just need to figure out what that is and fill that void for them and match them. So I match them with what they need. I meet my clients where they're at rather than just saying, this is what I provide. That's what I did.
I see.
I didn't. I was just like, this is it. These are my services. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't feel like I was really using my coaching and mentorship skills with my clients and really understanding what they need, because I'm not the only one that provides it. I also outsource. I have business partners. I'm consultant with a few different companies. I have one media production company that can do above and beyond when it comes to marketing, social media, graphic design. So that's the number one key to get to your answer. I don't do it myself. I'm willing to, at this stage in my trajectory, as I'm building and growing and expanding, I'd rather take less financially so that I can service my client to the best of my ability, give them what they deserve. And when I get to that capacity where I can completely, give them everything, in terms of time and dedication, I will. But right now I need the support. So I have my board of directors. I have my support team. I have people I delegate to because I can't do it at this point 100% myself and give what the biggest thing for me is my client and making sure that I'm giving them what they deserve.
I love it. Yeah, it's cool how all of your experiences and all your really owning your gifts, like how everything has come together and integrated with each other. It's beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. And like I said, it's an honor to share with your viewers. I know I want to congratulate you, celebrate your win in launching this podcast and giving your guests a voice and allowing yourself to express your inner voice. And I know it's going to impact a lot of people and viewers. I will be sharing with my network. I will be putting a clip of this in my website, on my website and on my
Very
social
cool.
media. So this is
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I just really want to acknowledge you for like just being of service to the world, like your community, and doing it with fun, right? I think there's people like creating and moving and shaking, but I don't think anyone is doing it with as much fun and play as you do, right? Like I think that's a beautiful gift to be able to have both, right? I think that's hard because I know a lot of success, like you said, successful people who aren't having as much fun as we are. So
you got to have some fun. You have to. And I have a quote for you. It's not mine, but it's
uh-huh.
I'm gonna grab it because it's actually on a board.
Okay.
Okay, there's two. I feel like we're playing a game. I'm just like, and guess what's behind this door?
Ooh.
Simple, but relevant.
Okay.
Love what you do.
Aw, yeah.
And
Short and sweet.
so many people neglect that basic element. If you're not, like you said, having fun, if you're not feeling joy, it doesn't mean every part of it is going to be enjoyable. I tell people as an example, I'm like, I have clients in the fashion industry. I've worked behind the stages. I've been, I've even had the chance to walk the runway and do all these things. And I'm like, but do you understand that it's still hard work?
Yeah.
Of Maud Mara, Farage Couture, Princess Farage, she works 7 days a week and she runs two different businesses that are two totally opposite businesses. She has a CPR first aid business as well. So she's just like on fire. I'm like, but everyone's like, fashion is fun. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But there are going to be moments, right? There's going to be moments. That's okay. As long as you feel like, that expression, you want to jump out of bed in the morning. Like you're like, I'm fired up because I enjoy what I'm doing. It doesn't feel like work, right? And that's the point I think people need to get to. And it's possible. It's not like, oh, this person, remember, like I said, is this magical person with unicorns and they're just like superhuman. No, they were intentional. That's the biggest advice my mentor gave me. Be intentional with everything you do. Set realistic goals and expectations. Create your vision board. Create an action plan. Hold yourself accountable. If you can't do it yourself, get your accountability buddies to kick you in the butt when you need it. Like sometimes we all need a little boost of encouragement. And my accountability partners have helped me in such a tremendous way and still do. And I help them. We help each other. That's why it's a buddy, right? It goes both ways. I think people need to understand. Give as well. And that last one that I wanted to share that I love, let's see if you can see it because it's a little.
Oh yeah, be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Ooh.
I read it because I wanted you to read it.
Yes. that reminds me of like Alicia Keys song. Yeah.
This Girls on Fire.
Yeah.
Yes, and I want, and it's funny because that appeals to everyone, right? Be fearless. Don't let that, like I said, that inner critic get the best of you. If you need to let it out, I'm all for letting it out. If you need to vent, you need to scream, you need to cry, do what you need to do to recharge, to refresh, to reset, and do it's not defined in one set way. Everybody is different. Everyone needs, I'm the type as social as I actually am selectively social. That's what I say, but I'm social. Yeah. I'm a social butterfly, but I've turned down, going out because I needed time for me. I needed that me time. I needed to have quiet. I needed technology to be silenced, and I needed to have a clear head and a calm spirit. And that's what I needed to do. So everyone finds, let me ask you, David, what do you do? Because this is actually the theme for my collabo call in August. It's about your me time. What do you do for me time? I'm going to interview you.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely like nature. Like I love back when I was living in Murray Hill, I definitely like walking like the East River and Central Park, like definitely helps get me source. Now that I would say like hiking, being in the mountains, like even looking at the birds, like luckily like right outside my place, there's like a little pond. So nature is definitely helps me get sourced and has me present and connected to the world and the universe and keeps me in a good place.
Oh, nice. I felt like we were about to go into a meditation. I'm like, oh, nature, nurture, and yeah, it's appreciating the beauty around you. You know, the most exciting experience I've had. One of the most exciting experiences I've had this year. You want to know what it was?
What was that?
Hiking and being on top of the mountains in California
Mm,
and
yeah.
feeling, I don't know, like this weight lifted and feeling so connected. And then the second one was also somehow in California, but working out on the beach, running in the sand,
Yeah.
really using sand as our weight bags.
Oh.
Funny because, and I always share this as a joke because it's hilarious. Like making fun of myself. We need to poke fun at ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Our fitness instructor said, "Good job, guys. Go to the water." And I thought he meant go to the your water bottle. He meant the ocean. So I'm going this way. Everyone is going that way. I still said it was how he said it. And he was like, oh, I'm like, oh God, there comes the
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I can't understand myself. But it was funny. And he started cracking up when I told him after. I was like, yeah, I went to the wrong water. Not used to working out on the beach. But it was so beautiful, and it was spiritual, like you said, like it was uplifting and freeing. And I was around great people, actually, two other female entrepreneurs, and just felt like this release of stress and this inflow of positive energy. And I recommend that even if you don't do a long hike. It's not about that. It's just about going and feeling, like you said, connected with nature and the world around you, just appreciating little things. In the New York hustle and bustle, I noticed like we do go too fast. And that's why I'm glad you mentioned like Central Park. I've done picnics there with my friends, and you just rejuvenate and like I said, recharge, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's a good place. It's like the yin and yang. I love it. I have a quote on my wall that I think you would appreciate. It's Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. So it's our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the computer in the way, does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that others would feel unsure around you. We're born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we consciously give people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Yes, I don't know if you noticed, but I knew some of the words, but I saw, yeah, that was, and it's funny, when I think they first showed that in the movie Coach Carter.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I love that quote. It's so beautiful. And that's what I meant about not letting, that those inner feelings of self-doubt and fear overcome us. Fear, it's funny, I say, worry is a wasted emotion. That's one of the things that I say. It's nothing that can actually help or get you closer to your goal. It's a human feeling. It's okay. But fearing the unknown, fearing failure, feeling being adequate enough. And it's like we need to find that in ourselves, that power within that we all have. That's why with the word empowerment, it's tricky, because empowerment almost sounds like lacking. Empowerment is finding the power within that already exists and exposing it on the outside, right? So one of my quotes, remember I said I was going to say one of my favorite quotes is, it's actually by Gloria Steinem. She goes back to the original, one of the original activists in the feminist movement. And I always paraphrase it because it's long, but it's like, it says, "I'm not giving up my torch, thank you. I'm passing my torch, because if we each have a torch, there's a lot more light." And I think it's about spreading that energy into the universe, and that helping hand that some other people around you may need more. You never really know. So I'm big on passing it along to other people, and then it's a trickle down effect, the impact that you can make on the universe.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on the podcast, and I can't wait to hang out. I mean, it sounds like we're neighbors, so I can't wait to see you in person.
Absolutely. Should I share my favorite quote of all time before I go?
Yes, let's do it.
It's mine,
Yeah.
but
I love it. I love
I
quotes.
want to put out a quote book one day.
Mm,
So your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. That is, I mean, I couldn't tell you more how accurate it is about what you bring to every experience.
mm,
When you bring your whole self and you show up and you're intentional, people feed off of that energy, and they want to be
yeah.
around you, and they want to work with you, and they want to refer you. And that is the way the world works. The way you leave people feeling,
Mm,
that's your brand. That's your trademark. That's the impact and the lasting impression you're leaving on this world.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you went to visit the LinkedIn office. You certainly have left a lasting impression, and I'm sure everyone who you met remembers you, and that's who you are, right? Like everywhere you go, people will always remember you. So
And I feel mutually the same. I mean, I've had some people in my network, from Streetwise and just other, people that I've mentioned to you or knew mutually that spoke very highly of you. And I thought that from the beginning, because you give a lot, and it's in such an authentic way. And I feel like that's something that's hard to come by. There's a lot of people that give, there's a lot of people that care, there's a lot of empaths, but you have this authenticity that is very unique. And I respect and I appreciate that. And I'm happy you're in my network. And like I said, very honored at the very genuine offer to come on your podcast. And I hope to share the wealth with you. Maybe I'll bring you on my podcast, in our next season, and bring you into some of my networks, because I don't feel there's any better way than it's the spirit of collaboration. I think, being able to work together, to build together. It's such a beautiful thing. So collaborate. I think I'm gonna be talking to you after this about some other ways we can collaborate together.
yes, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what's the best way people can reach out to you? I'll include your website, and your LinkedIn, and if others want to find you, you're pretty much everywhere, so it's pretty easy to find you. But
I have to get onto Clubhouse. Apparently, that's the next thing. I've been
okay.
for a few platforms, and I need to actually get it together. So I'm going to challenge myself to get in with more technology. But yes, you can. My website, as mentioned, thebusinessmatchmaker.org, _business_matchmaker on Instagram, and then without the underscores on Facebook. And I encourage you to also, it's being rebranded, my podcast, the Work Your Money podcast, in terms of content, but you can find it on YouTube, and pretty much all social media channels, Facebook and Instagram. eBoy Productions, as mentioned, they're backing my commercial, so follow them, eboyproductions.com, and same name on all social media channels. And then collabocall.com for my Zoom series that I host as well. So we have a call every third Saturday. I won't even say the time, because I imagine your viewers are in all different time zones. So I'll share that later, because I want standard, but this is global, and I have to correct myself with the multiple time zones. So I'll just.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Desiree. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This has been an honor. I can't wait to share it with my network.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be taking out a lot of clips.
No, that's awesome. All right.